Today we're going to make a little video about skin on frame kayak safety. And the main thing is the sea sock, so this is what the video is about. You may have heard the word sea sock earlier. There's a lot of confusion about a sea sock. Well, I'm not very confused because I've been using these sea socks since 1996, and I think it's the best way to stay safe in a skin on frame kayak. So the problem with the skin on frame kayak is that it's skin on frame. So if you fall into the water and it gets swamped, you have a problem. But with the sea sock you don't have a problem. I will do some nice illustrations. I've went through some old video clips I have, and they nicely illustrate how well the system works in actual conditions. But I'm going to talk a little about the whole concept and a little bit on the technical side first. What you see here is a normal sea sock. This is my typical sock. It is a canvas bag. It fills up the space where you're seated, exactly the space where you're seated, and it attaches to the cockpit with a bungee, and the only thing the cockpit needs is a sort of a lip, a sharp lip, and it will stay there, and you can wear your spray skirt or your dually over it. And very important, inside the sea sock you have this. This is kind of an insulation mat, just a thin one, and it obviously insulates you. It makes sure that it's easy for you to slide in and out of the kayak with the sea sock, and also it prevents the sea sock from collapsing so that you can drag it out with your feet in case of a wet exit on the water. So there's a lot of benefits to keeping this mattress inside the sea sock. It also takes some of the wear on the fabric here. So this is my old style sea sock, and I'm just going to show you the new one. The main thing with the new sea sock is that it looks more elegant, and that's the whole thing. It's also, like in this case, made out of waterproof canvas. It's real heavy duty stuff, and then it attaches to the cockpit with a lip. So on the edge of the sea sock you have a lip out of some webbing, like real heavy duty stuff, and it just slides into the cut that I made in the top of the cockpit coaming here, like this. And the fun thing is that once you have fastened it here, it stays there, so it's pretty neat. So all the pulling, when you enter the kayak, it just pulls down, so there's really no way it can get loose. And if you want to get your lunch sandwich, you can just lift it up at the back here, remove your foam backrest or whatever, grab your sandwich and put it back in. So it's really functional. I've been using this for the last 5 or 6 years just to put it to the test, and I think it's super functional. It really works.
I'm going to demonstrate how well the sea sock works and how little water will enter the kayak. I don't have a spray skirt, and I'm just tilting the kayak over to the side, and as you can see, it floats really high and hardly any water gets into the kayak. I guess we will have half a gallon of water here, which is manageable.
Here's Dave. Dave is having trouble. He capsizes. He gets out of his kayak. He tries to empty his kayak, I guess, but he needs help. Here comes Mike. Mike helps, empties the kayak, but where is Dave? I think he took a dive. I'm not sure. These clips are kind of mixed up, but he may show up again. Here comes Dave. He must have dived because he came out just where he left us, and he gets into the kayak easily. Mike assists him, and he manages to put on a spray skirt, and I guess he just needs his paddle. Well, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna fall in. I always paddle with this one on, and I always keep these toggles together because then they are ready for action, like this. And I always keep my spare paddle. In this case it's on the back deck because the GoPro is on the front deck. So I'm gonna fall in and I'm gonna show you what to do. So just hang on, water's really cold by the way. Lift up the kayak, and as you can see, this is my rod. It's easily empty, and I keep these ready. I remove my spare, stay close to the kayak, and put the spare on the back deck. I'm practically safe now because I got my body out of the cold water. This can be tricky to some to get the legs over, but hey, you can release the paddle, roll forward, and put back in again. Or you can just skip the toggles and just hold the paddle in your hand. Anyway, thanks to the Seasock, there's so little water in the kayak. And I can easily go back. Put on my spray skirt. And release my spare paddle. Put it back where it should be. And I grab my other paddle. And I can paddle home. Now what you saw was of course something I've done a lot of times before, and that's my advice to you guys, is you just test out this for real, and you can test it in even more real condition. If there's a little wind and waves, it will help your practice. Normally I would keep my spare paddle on the front deck, keep the toggles good together, and keep the kayak close when I'm swimming in the water. I always keep a hand on the kayak. Of course, you need to tighten this well, keeps you floating high in the water. And of course you need to be dressed for the water temperature. That's key essentials to kayak safety for everyone. Now, if I just take a look at the Seasock now, it's of course a little wet. There was very little water inside the kayak, and the kayak is dry inside. Just want to say one word about the choice of material here, because some think that, well, if it needs to be 100% watertight, then it needs to be made out of some plastic material. My experience with plastic or nylon or polyester materials is that they make you feel like you sit in a plastic bag. So my choice here is the cotton canvas, and I think that's the best choice because it's pleasant to your skin and it absorbs moisture. You always get moisture inside your kayak from your sweating, from water that is dragged inside the kayak. It will absorb a lot of that moisture and you'll always be comfortable. Besides, when it gets wet inside, it only gets stiffer, so it keeps its shape very nicely without ever collapsing. And of course, I also keep this foam mattress inside to prevent it from being dragged out when I go out in and out of the kayak. So that's a little bit of advice here if you want to make your own. I do sell these in my shop, and I also sell a pattern, so I think you should make one. It will really improve your skin on frame kayak safety to have a sea sock, that's for sure. Of course, you need to test it out in real conditions, see how it works, and get acquainted with it. I'm not saying that you can't paddle safely without a sea sock, but it surely has some limitations. I guess that was all for now. Thank you for listening.